Squad up, haters down, haters down. If you ain't about that life, don't come around, don't come around. Got the crowd, going wild, going wild. Tell me what you know about that Mim style, that Mim style.
Yo, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the Memphis Jelks Show. We are back, man. I don't know. I think me and my homie need to start like numbering these episodes, man. I be seeing some podcasts and shows, man. They be having this number 1,108. I'm like, me and O probably don't even know if this is the 182nd or the third. So apparently we snoozing. Oh, did I say oh?
Drums, please.
Oh,
what's up, man? What's up, man? Yeah, we do need to start numbering these episodes because you're right. I don't know if this is 15 or 57. I really don't. Or 75. I don't know what.
Say hello to my little friend.
What's going on, man?
Man, I'm feeling good today, man. For some reason, I'm feeling rejuvenated, man. How you been?
Man, I've been good, man. I've been feeling real good, man. It's a great day to be alive.
Oh yeah, man. That's every day right there, for real. Yep. It's been a lot going on, man. A lot going on, you know what I'm saying? Especially like, with the big E, but I ain't tripping, you know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about that tonight, not on this show. We here to have fun. We here to enjoy. We here to inspire. Right. You know what I'm saying?
On the Memphis Jelks After Dark show. We'll talk all about it.
Yeah. Don't give me no ideas.
I know, right? Yeah, we'll have that next week, man. Fooling around with you.
I know, man. Especially like after like I'm on Twitter, right? And I be on Twitter and I be like, man, how they letting Elon get away with all this crap, man?
Listen, highway robbery is what it is.
It is
robbery, man.
It is, man. I promise you. It's like it can get real ugly over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you got a Twitter? Do you be on Twitter?
Man, I do have a Twitter, but like I be on it, man, so sporadic. It's like I had a Twitter phase, and then now I just get on there to get the current news, man. Because Twitter gonna give you all the juice, man.
Yeah.
They gonna give you every bit of it. If you want to know what's going on, go on Twitter.
Yep, that's why, man. Every time I see something like in the news or something come into question, man, I go straight to Twitter, man, because they gonna have it on there, and not only that, they gonna rip it apart.
Yep.
They'll rip you a new one too. By me being an artist, you know what I mean? Like you come out with a song, you know what I'm saying, or something, man. If they don't like it, man, Twitter gonna let you know.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, talk bad about your shit too. Like
they gonna
contemplate being a rapper again. You be like, damn, I you know what? Y'all right. I shouldn't be rapping. I shouldn't be singing. They troll you so hard on Twitter, man. It don't even make sense, man. You got a better chance on TikTok, man. They won't troll you as much on there, but they will make memes out of your shit though, and re-record and stitch in on your shit. So you got to be careful, depending on where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying. Yep, man. And on Facebook, like, man, whoa, that's a tough crowd because most of them, like, they know you in real life. So they think that you who they remembered you as, back in school or some shit.
Right. I went to school with. Like, I'm the same person, but I'm not the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like we went to school together, but this version of me is different than that version of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I love about Facebook, and I kind of despise about Facebook. It's that they'll try to hold you to who you used to be sometimes, and instead they don't want to see your growth. Like they're like, man, that fool, we used to play basketball together.
Yeah, but man, like as content creator or as a content creator, man, you can still make a lot of money on Facebook. I just read a couple of vlogs talking about it, man. Like people still making big money on Facebook. I mean, Instagram is probably paying a lot, and TikTok is probably paying some, but man, Facebook. Them some faithful followers on Facebook, man. If you got a platform that's jumping on Facebook, man, you can still make some money, some decent money on there.
Exactly, and that's why I'm grateful to thank to Mark Zuckerberg and everybody over at Facebook. For real, yo, they hit me up one time. It's like, yo, we want you want to monetize your page, and I was like, sure, yeah. So you know what I'm saying? I think my biggest check. Hold up, I'm finna tell y'all. I'm finna let y'all in some insider information.
I thought you were trying to think of
it. My biggest check was y'all hear me?
You know, we didn't hear you. One more time.
My biggest check was for
oh man.
Yo, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, listen. And you know, like content creation, man. We had your cousin on a few weeks ago, man. Listen, it's still a place where you can make some money, man. Like you literally can make money off content creation, man. Shout out to Rainland Enterprises. You can make some money, man. Listen, I'm promise you can make some money off that stuff, man. So I just don't have the passion for it, or I would do it.
Exactly. Really Actually, we are doing it. You know what I'm saying? But we're doing it on our time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So once we get it to where we want to get it, I don't mind doing it. Once a week, like we're doing live, and then we can interact with people too. Then some people don't know the phone lines always open when we on here. We be live. So 901-410-0123, that number on the screen. Y'all can call that at any time while we live and chop it up with us and be heard. This platform for everybody. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all, what do we gotta say? YouTubers, what do you say? You say make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Yep.
Subscribe, especially on YouTube, man. Y'all subscribe on YouTube, man.
And I don't like doing that either. Fools should know by now. You know what I'm saying? They gonna make me come. Hey, they gonna make me walk up to their house, knock on their door, and blow them off. I guess. Well, I'm gonna get these buttons right one of these days.
Hey man, listen. Yeah, man, you gonna get them right
one of these days.
Yeah, you gonna get it right one day.
But yeah, let's not even get into that. I don't guess I guess that was too violent too. I don't be trying to be too violent on the show. I was gonna go.
We need y'all to subscribe though, man. Listen, y'all go subscribe right now. Pause the video, go subscribe to the Memphis Joke Show right now on YouTube, man. Because YouTube pay that money, so y'all go subscribe.
Yep, we'll be right here waiting too. The clock is ticking. The clock is actually ticking though, because that was the right button.
Hey, we wanted to get you some labels to put on them buttons, man, so you can hit the right one.
You're right about that, man. Speaking of the right one, we got the right guest tonight.
Yes, sir.
Man, one of the most positive, inspirational artists and people and genuine people that I've ever met in life. We met via Heal the Hood Foundation. Shout out to Liddell Beeman.
Shout out to Liddell, man. I'm on the TV a couple weeks for that celebrity basketball tournament a couple months ago, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man, Liddell the man. Y'all make sure y'all check out anything Heal the Hood got going on, man, because they the truth.
Shameless plug. Check out his episode we did last season too.
Yep. Definitely check that out. Hey, season 1, we got Liddell Beeman on that thing. And here's another, like me and this person, man, we met through Liddell, man, and she's always been a blessing, a positive inspiration, to me. I've always, when I see her, I'm smiling. She puts me in good spirits. Yeah. Because she the truth, man, and she's not just, some people try to fake like they're positive or fake like they're, inspirational. No, there's nothing fake about our next guest.
Yeah.
She the real deal, man. So without further ado, I introduce to y'all
Drums, please.
Butta MD is in the
Welcome to the Memphis
building.
Jelks
Hey, how
Show.
y'all doing? Thank y'all for having me. Thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate that. Much love, Jelks.
Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's such a blessing to have you on the show finally.
Blessing to be here. Yes, thank you so much. I'm
That's
excited to
what's
be
up.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Oh man, I've been watching your new video, Remember, and just
Yeah.
listening to that song, and it just puts me in like a super positive, super like spiritual place when I hear it. So
Yeah.
what's the idea, the concept behind that song?
Well, like you said, we met back when we were working with Heal the Hood, and I went to school for music and business because I always liked singing, writing, rapping. But I wanted to take a different approach with this song. And so it's more of me singing with a little rapping. Shout out to Clyde Hines and Taz for helping me with the idea because I've never done a song like this before. So I was a little nervous, but it's just so much that's going on in the world today, as well as that has gone on in my life. And I think you all had just mentioned how not just Facebook, but it's a lot of people who will try to bring up your past. You know, Facebook has those what are those memories where it'll show where you was at in 2004 on this day, where you was at 2017 on this day. And sometimes it really had you thinking like, whoa, Jesus. I was good, and it'll
What was
bring
I
back some
doing?
memories. Some of them good, some of them bad. You know, I've had some memories that I've seen on Facebook with people that I no longer hear in my life anymore. Whether it's my mother, my sister, my grandmother. Then it's some memories of people that I'm no longer associated with, and which is okay. You know, so I want to what you just said chimes into the meaning of the song Remember. And it's just a positive, you know, vibe just to encourage people that you can continue to move forward, whatever God has for you, regardless of what your past is, whether it's Facebook, your cousin Pookie, your old coworker, your old manager. You know, people gonna try to bring up your past all the time, but I've just learned what to say and to be confident enough to make sure that what I'm saying is true, because sometimes God will allow us to get out of a situation so we can help the next person. And sometimes they're looking for somebody in their circle to get out so you can help somebody else. So that's why staying humble, showing mercy, showing grace, just how God shows it to us. I believe it's our duty to show it to somebody else. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of the song. Just remembering not only what people say, but remembering who God called you to be, and just enjoy the song and let it be a reminder.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So some of your earlier, I read somewhere that some of your earlier influences were people like MC Light, Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
Tupac. What was it about those artists that inspired you at such an early age?
Tupac for sure, just because I like his lyrical, prolific wording and how he words things, and that kind of because I before I was a rapper, I just wrote lyrics or rhymes, so to speak. And so, you know, being prolific meaning just he can take something and you can visualize what he's saying. And so, you know, I dibbled and dabbled in spoken word as well. And so being a spoken word artist, it's the same thing. You're putting somebody in the place of making them visualize what you're saying. So Tupac definitely had that influence. Lauryn Hill, India Reed. I had two older sisters. One of them liked the Tupac, Play a Fly music, and then the other one liked the India Reed, the Lauryn Hill. And so I kind of used to take their CDs, so to speak. And so it kind of just, you know, listening to the melodies, then listening to rap and just kind of meshed together. MC Light and Queen, just, you know, they've been big pivotal female lyricists from back in the day, and just their topics on what they talk about, because I actually used to teach music as well. And so to me, it's important to allow a child to understand when you're listening to something, the first thing that catches you is the beat. So I thank God for him allowing me to work with great producers who can and give me something to vibe to, as well as to put some lyrics or words behind that music or intertwine it with the music, so then it makes sense. And so those artists, they tell a story, and every song, just like an art piece, should be able to tell a story. And so that's kind of what I wanted to always do in my music and my poetry, is to allow a person to visualize not just what I've been through, but you can even see yourself in the song as well. So
I love that. That is fly right there. I've been doing my research, and I know that you graduated cum laude from the University of Memphis
yeah.
in music and business. But before we get to that, did you go to school? Were you born and raised in Memphis first, and did you go to school in Memphis? Have you from grade school on up through high school?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Memphis, been here for 37 years. Kind of grew up in the Raleigh, Bartlett area. And so I've been here for my whole life. I definitely enjoy the deep roots of music, just the artistry that Memphis holds and the people that's in it, regardless of what some people may say. I definitely enjoy just being a Memphis native. Yes, sir.
Nice. Did you were you doing art in school? Did you start doing music in school, or is that something that came like later on, or was it high school, or?
Well, I mean, I actually, I don't know if y'all remember VHSs.
Yeah.
Anybody remember
Yep.
VHSs back in the day? Oh, you remember VHSs? So I ran across a VHS a couple of years ago, and I was like in the garage at my house. I think I was maybe like 7 or 8. And when I watched it, I was rapping. And of course, back then you didn't know what it was, but I was just like saying some stuff or whatever. And then I saw another VHS, I watched it, and so it was like I started back like 7, 8 years old, just kind of just spitting stuff, not really understanding. But I truly, truly got into it when I got into middle school, and I started, I used to just freestyle, if y'all know what that means, just kind of, in theater it's called improv, but in music just freestyling, just whatever come to the top of your dome. So I used to do that a lot. And so middle school, that's kind of where I just continued to hone in on my craft of lyricism, if that makes sense. And so high school is when I started doing like talent shows. I used to do talent shows in my high school all the time, and to get the support from my fellow classmates. I remember doing talent shows. I remember one time my mom came and my grandmother came. We were in the school gym. It was maybe like 2,200 kids. And my mom told me after I finished, she was like, you can hear a pin drop. Because, in high school, people going to be laughing, talk, you know what I'm saying? But she said when I got up there, you could hear a pin drop. And that's slick what made me nervous, because I'm like, ain't nobody saying nothing while I'm up there, But I didn't have any music. It was just me spitting lyrics, And after that day, that's kind of where I just continued to be like, okay, I'm going to really hone into this. My first quote unquote performance was at a church. I didn't use any profanity. I was just talking about real life. Parents just went through a divorce, how I've been feeling, what's going on at school, dealing with friends, talking about you behind your back, just stuff that a child goes through. I was just writing about it. I got cassette tapes full of stuff that me just spreading out what I went through in the lifespan, to be able to look back and be like, man, I came from a long way, But when I got in college, that's when I started really truly adding music to my lyrics. I met, producers and engineers in college in my degree that I was in, music and business. And I just started working with producers more. And I started putting out some songs and stuff on campus. Same thing in high school. I was with the fraternities and the sororities doing shows at their events. I was winning talent shows on campus. Didn't really know much about promoting and marketing, so I used to just go to talent shows by myself, and I would win. And then I go back to the dorm and tell my friend, they're like, "Why you ain't telling?" I was like, I was just going just to see if I could do it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference when you do it at home and you write, but when you get in front of people, your peers, and if they accept it, then it means something. So I used to just go by myself to to talent shows in college. And I walk out of there, everybody, you know, and I'm like, oh, that was fun, you know. And so I just continue to do that, and I definitely enjoy it. I know it's a gift from God, and I try my best to do every time I do a song or a poem to make sure that I include him in it, because if it wasn't for him, I definitely wouldn't be able to have this gift. And I appreciate again for y'all having me just to be able to express that.
What's awesome and phenomenal to me is that it sounds to me like when you first got into writing music, you looked at it from like putting God first, not cussing, not doing a lot of profanity in it and stuff like that. Which to me sounds, you know, like it's phenomenal, because like the background that I came from, first it started off as like hip hop, and it was like different flavors and stuff, you know, and then all of a sudden like the gangster stuff started, the gangster rap started taking over. So you know, of course, like a lot of us started, the people around my area where we were trying our hand at the gangster stuff, and you know, and that's kind of what most people were doing. So what was the inspiration behind you not doing that or following that gangster trend?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I did dibble and dabble in trying to use cuss words, and I didn't know what they meant. So I did try that, but I never got on stage with it. Let me put it like that. You know, behind closed doors, I would write certain things just, you know, just to be cool. Like I said, when I was in middle school in the hallway, it was some stuff that I definitely won't say on camera, but just crazy stuff, you know, a child, just a kid, you know, but I knew when I got out in front of people who I needed to represent, if that makes sense. And we grew up in a household, as well as my grandparents, a strong God biblical background, to where I knew, first off, it's a gift from him. And just like if anybody give you a gift, you want to make sure you take care of it. And so I knew at an early age, you know, like I said, that day after I finished performing in my high school, and everybody, you know, I mean, upperclassmen, I think I was like a freshman, you know what I mean? And so it was like I had juniors, teachers, everybody was coming up to me. And my mom pulled me to the side and she said, never forget who gave you that gift, and always give him the glory after you do anything and everything, you know. And so when she said that, that's when it really hit. Because first off, your parents, they're literally the ones who see a child. That's why it's so important to pay attention to your children, because at a young age, you can see them getting into stuff, liking stuff, to where you can be able to hone in on that gift. So when she pulled me to the side and said that in high school, that's when I truly knew, okay, I got to make sure I do right by this gift. You know what I'm saying? And so my mom definitely instilled in me at an early age, not to use this platform or this arena or the influence to spread nothing but the truth. And you can do truth. I don't have to say God, Jesus in every line, but what I'm saying and how I say it, it should be able to glorify or bring somebody closer to him who maybe don't know him. And like I say, even with the song Remember, being able to allow somebody to see their past, but not see it as a burden, but to see it as a blessing, because you had to go through it and get to where you are right now, you know. So yeah, shout out to my mom. I know she prayerfully that she's proud of me. I know she's in heaven, and just, you know, I thank God for parents that he blessed me with. Shout out to my dad, Joseph Deloach, you know, definitely supporting and always encouraging and making sure that I keep my focus on what it needs to be focused on.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them. And speaking of your video and your song, Remember, I want to let's get into it. Let's play it for the people. I always let the artists introduce their video in their project. So I'm gonna let you introduce it, and then we're gonna get into it.
Okay. Well, this is single called Remember by Butta MD. Shout out to Matthew Jordan for producing it. Shout out to Claude Hines for producing the single, the music, and Taz for recording it. I pray you all enjoy it. Here's the song, Remember. Man, I know you still hitting them plugs. Man, you remember.
The pain, the struggle, it made me tougher. The burdens I carried, it made me humble. Thank God I'm still standing. Let the Joneses, the Browns, or the Jacksons. Thought the other side was greener. It was just plastic. I admit I was wrong. Time after time, blind leading the blind, while we get left behind. Love's always told me,
Watch who your crew is.
keep your excuses. Nights get hazy, riding dirty was the worst. Life didn't faze me, but I stood on his word. He'll never forsake me when them valleys got low, mountains shaking. God, please take control, 'cause the pain, the struggle, it made me tougher. The burdens I carried, it made me humble. Thank God I'm still standing. Let me be honest, if I went back, you can miss me with that. The darker it got, the deeper I fell. God gave me his light, but I couldn't tell. 'Cause when my sister was killed, my life did a 360. Lost my job smoking green, my heart was empty. Felt no hope, wish granny was hitting it. Heal my soul, that flesh should kill you every time. We just in this world and not of it. God, get your glory now, he's soon coming. Yahweh will never fail you, that's the whole truth. That's why I won't go back, 'cause I'm living proof. God is waiting for you. God is waiting for you. And he's calling for you. So don't let your past hold you back. The pain, the struggle, it made me turn and I carried it. It made me God, I'm still standing.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I mean, I ain't there no more. Like I'm not there no more. Miss me with that.
The pain, the struggle, it made me tougher. The burdens I carried, it made me humble. Thank God I'm still standing. Let me be honest, if I went back, you can miss me with that.
That
Nice.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you.
was
I
good.
mean,
Thank you.
straight up, I gotta hit it again.
Thank you.
Yo,
God bless.
I
Thank you so
mean,
much.
good.
one more time. What in the? Oh, I can't get these buttons right tonight. I can't get my buttons right tonight. Look, let's turn it down because Butta, that video is phenomenal. And I'm gonna tell you what I really, really loved about the video and love about the song is that you're doing what a lot of artists are failing to do. And that is you're telling your story.
Yeah.
Is that important to you to tell your story through your art and why? Why if it is, then why?
The way I look at social media is kind of the way that I look at my music, meaning when we leave this earth, what we leave behind is important. I had a young girl ask me one day, she was like, she did music as well, but she has young children. And she was like, I said, well, what do you rap about? And she was telling me what she rapped about. And I just had one question. I said, when you're gone, do you want them to remember you by that? Like, what legacy are you leaving your child, whether it's them or another young girl that listens to your music? What do you want them to be able to hold on to, so when you leave, you can leave something in your music to say, this is how mama got through, or this is how auntie got through. Can you answer that? And when I asked her that, she kind of was, kind of paused for a second, and she was like, "You're right." And don't get me wrong, it's some fun. I had some fun tracks. Like I said, I'm definitely working on some new music. So I have some other stuff that, you have your fun tracks and everything, but the content to me is so important because, like I said, I started off just writing lyrics, writing what was going on in my life because I know I'm not going to be here forever. No one is. But what we leave behind and how we use our gifts are important. And going back to what my mom stated, making sure that what I put out is something that you will want your child, you will want your niece, your nephew, someone younger than you. You want the next generation to be able to see how you got through in your music. So it's definitely important to me on that I'm able to do that lyrically, and people take that from it, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. That makes
Yeah,
perfect sense.
Yeah.
People want to they want to be able to relate to you too
yeah,
as a person before being an artist. And
yeah,
and that's why I said a lot of artists make the mistake of just being a dope artist,
yeah,
but people like who is the person though? What have they ever been through? Have they been through anything like I've been through and stuff?
mm-hmm,
And you're like the way that you're telling your story through your lyrics, through your music, you're giving people that missing piece that can connect them to you, where they be like, oh man, that happened to my family too.
yeah,
Now I feel her even more. Not only is her
yeah,
music dope, but we if I ever meet her, we can talk and have a
yeah.
conversation
And
about
that's what it should be
things
like. Yep.
yep.
Because you should only, and that was my thing. You asked me about have I ever like used profanity and stuff like that. It wasn't even me just using profanity. Like, I wasn't using like, very, very vulgar words, but just saying some words that didn't make sense. But also I was writing stuff that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I was writing stuff that I was just making up. And at the end of the day, I've also learned when I was teaching music to children, middle schoolers, I had to let them know y'all got to write about what you went through. Don't write about
Mm-hmm.
what somebody, and don't get me wrong, there's songs that you can create and write that is about something that happened in your life or someone close to you in your life, but let it be realistic. Don't, and that's another thing. I know a lot of artists, hip hop, R&B, you name it, country, a lot of people will write about something that's not true. And if it's not true, then like you stated, how can you relate to somebody? How can you do an interview, or how can someone be able to connect with you if what you're putting out is negative? Not negative, but it's untrue. And so that's why it's important too. You're so correct.
I think that's interesting, because I do believe in being authentic in what you write. I also believe in storytelling, and so
Yeah,
sometimes you can write songs that are storytelling, which is fine. But I do believe that you should be authentic in what you talk about, and it should be your experience. And if it's not your experience, the way you write it should be from somebody else's perspective. In my mind, that ends up most of the time equating to storytelling. But it's important because I think what people fail to realize is that authenticity comes out when the listeners listen.
yeah,
You can listen to some music and you can tell if a person is talking about it or if a person has actually lived it.
yeah,
And I think people thought that went away because you go back to the 70s and 80s and even in the 60s, a lot of the stuff that was being sung then or rap then, you could tell people lived that just by the passion that they put into the music.
yeah,
And I think people thought that might have went away or thought that you could fool or mask people. But now, now it's even more important to be more authentic because
yeah.
people see you all the time on the World Wide Web. I sounded like
Mm-hmm.
an older person, but on social media, like
Worldwide.
people, but people see you, like people see your life. And so
Yeah,
sometimes you put unnecessary pressure on yourself
yep.
by writing and talking and living a lifestyle that's not you.
That's not
When
you.
really there are people who can relate to the lifestyle that you have if you just rap it and convey it and
Yep,
use that poetry to
yep,
draw people into what who might be having the same experience as you or who might
yeah,
can learn from your experiences. So I think that's
hmm,
important, man. I think that's a great thing to do.
yeah,
And even in the song we just listened to, you can just tell, when I was, usually I kind of write down little notes sometimes when I hear stuff. And so authenticity was the thing that came to my mind
yeah.
when I
I
heard that,
appreciate
right?
that.
Because that's just what it felt like to me. It felt
Mhm.
authentic. It felt like not only did you have a passion for it, but what you were talking about, I'm a little bit more of a visual person, and so for me, I'm visualizing the writing process, right, and
Yeah.
how you going through and putting this piece together, and the headspace you got to be in order to record that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that makes a difference too. When
Yeah.
you're in that studio, that headspace that you're in, the place you have to get to write something like this. And
Yeah.
so I just think that was conveyed in that music. And so I just have an appreciation for the authenticity in the music
Yeah.
because I think that's missing a lot today.
Yeah.
And I think you said it best, hey, cussing ain't my thing, but if that's your thing and if that's what you want to be remembered for, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do what you do, whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever legacy you feel comfortable with leaving, do what you do, but do it the right way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In the way you want to be represented and portrayed.
Yeah. That's true. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And I think that's the key thing of I've never been a person who, which no one likes to be a person who tries to push or force something on
Mm,
someone.
mm,
And I was that kid in high school that I was cool with just like college as well. I was cool with everybody, the jocks, the nerds, the quiet folks, the people that no one want to talk to. Like I was that type of person to where I was able to relate, and I know God has structured me that way because now I can be able to relate to any group of person that I talk to. But I always want to make sure that I'm being the light that he wants me to be, because at the end of the day, I'm able to relate to you. And some people want to take your advice, some don't, but I'm not going to force it on anybody because I've been there. Peer pressure is not just in high school and school, but it's in adult life as well. I've definitely learned that you can be peer pressured into something, but like you stated, if it's not authentic, then what are we doing? Are we just trying to make something just so it can be fun? Or do you really want to help somebody that, some people may never go to church. Some people may
yeah.
never go listen to an inspirational 30-40 minute speaker, but they'll be able to go to iTunes, or they can go to
Yeah.
Pandora or Spotify, and they can listen to my 4 minute and 10-second song and be able to uplift them in wherever mood. And that's kind of how I think about it whenever I'm doing music. Is music is doing a song. Music is different from poetry, and like I said, I do both. Poetry, you can put everything in there. It can be 5-10 minutes long, but with a song, I have to make sure that I take those few minutes and make sure that I put everything in there to convey what I'm saying. And so that's where I appreciate you for saying that, because now that makes, because like I said, it was a little different for me. I know I told you about my other song. It Will Be, that I released last year, and it's more, hip hop, my rap or whatever. But this one was a little different, and to be honest, I was a little afraid to put it out the way I did it. But my producer, shout out to Claude Hines, and Taz Fields for encouraging me and helping me while I was in the studio. And like you stated, they were like, do it again. Oh, I need to feel what you
Yeah.
just said, and so it
Yeah.
was like, okay, so
Yeah.
that's a key thing to make sure that when you're recording something that's authentic and real, that you have a circle of people around you that can help pull that out, and I'm so glad that they did, and I appreciate that information and that encouragement as well.
Yeah. I don't think people really understand like what music can do for a person.
Tell
Like
me.
music it can literally shift your whole mood.
Yeah.
Like it can literally shift how you're feeling that day. It can
Yep.
literally shift how you're thinking that day. Even if you think about the type of music you decide to put on to go to work. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like
Yep.
for me, like depending on what I put on, my driving changes. Like
Changes.
even
Yep.
how I drive changes, even how I see the highway it changes, even my perspective, it
Hmm.
changes how I attack my day. And so I think people don't understand the responsibility, right, you
Yeah.
have to put out a quality product, right? And there are building stages where you just put music out there to get it out there. That
Yeah.
part I understand, but like when you know better, right? You
Yep.
have to do somewhat a
Do
little
something
bit
better.
better as a responsibility when you start speaking to people
Yep.
in a public forum, right? Because all of this information is like it's on display. It's public
Yeah.
information at this point, and so
Yep.
there's a certain responsibility that come with delivering a good product.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
people sometimes think that they just, go in there and do whatever, man. And people don't look at music, being a musician,
Mhm.
being an artist as a
Mhm.
craft
Yeah.
that you have to work, fine
Yep.
tune, man. Like
Yep.
you can have a gift at it, But if you don't cultivate that gift, if you don't plant
you.
and sow and water that gift, man, it won't grow into something. It'll be there, but it won't reach its
Won't reach its
maximum potential. Yeah.
And what helps build it are issues that we go through in life, family situations, and just like any, just take for instance a pastor. People want to talk about pastors or apostles or preacher, whatever title you want to give them. They'll talk about them all day long, but until you're in that office, until you've been ordained to be able to carry that title, you don't know how to handle it. And a lot of people mishandle it, but there's a right way to handle it. And a lot of people put them on pedestals to where they can only do so much, or they can't say this or that. Same thing like you just stated with with music. It's an art, and just like art, I can hold up a painting, and both of you all can give me two different perceptions of what this painting makes you feel like, or what it looks like to you. And that's the same thing with music. And my goal, and I pray every time when I sit down before I write a song, is that God gives me what to say, because I don't know if somebody listening to it on their last dollar. Somebody about to, drive. They've been driving around for 3-4 hours and hadn't talked to their family, feel left alone. I don't know who's going to listen to it and when they listen to it. And so that's why I take it so seriously. And I never take it lightly. And that's why I thank God for, connecting me with people that can help bring that out, because there's only so much I can do. I can bring the lyrics, I can bring the voice, and I can bring that, but then being able to cultivate it and actually put I literally was, shedding some tears while recording. And I've done that with all my music since I've been doing music, because it has to come from a pure place. I have to go back to when I wrote it, but also go back to this situation. I mentioned about my grandmother, my sister, when she got killed, there was a lot of guilt that I had to deal with my sister passing away, and the way she passed away, and not being able to be at the hospital with her, and the way we found out, like, it was a lot during that time. And literally my spirit and my soul was demolished to where I started drinking, smoking, just doing stuff that I knew I had no business doing, but I was trying to fill a void. I was literally hurting inside, but not doing it the right way, if that makes sense. And so when I talk to people and they ask me about that part, or people, ask about, have you ever lost a sibling and everything, I can relate from both sides, so I just, I appreciate that. It definitely means a lot, because like I said, that was my first time doing a song kind of like that. And my grandma used to always tell me that I had a good singing voice. I never thought I did. But I thank God that I listened to her, and I wasn't afraid to put something out like this. So I appreciate that.
Got it right this time.
I got it right, finally. So, Butta, you are a teacher, songwriter, rapper, motivational speaker, MC, musician, producer, spoken word artist, singer, author, and actress. That is phenomenal.
Long list.
That is and you're fluent and great at all of it, because I've seen you do all of it. At our time with Heal the Hood, when we would do those plays and skits and stuff like that, I thought I was a better actor until I till I joined Heal the Hood, and I ran into people like Butta MD and stuff who were really good actors, really great actresses and actors and stuff.
You were good too. We all fed off each other.
Thank you. Is there any of those passions in professions that you love the most? Because I noticed that you wrote a book in 2022, and I wanted to write a book, someday, one of these days. And the name of your book is called Margaret's Survival Diary: God Restored My Story. Yeah. Can you walk me through the process of writing a book, and then why did you select that topic to write your book about?
Well, actually, just going back off of what we said, anything that I write or put out, it has to be something that I lived through. I'm not sure how many doctors or nurses or people that's in the medical field, but in 2013 and 2021, I had blood clots that moved from my legs to my lungs. And when that process happens, um, 10 times out of 10 the person dies because they're not around anybody that can help, as well as it feels like a cramp. You know how you've been sitting for too long, or you laying in the bed for too long, or you driving for a long period of time and your leg get a cramp, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Yep.
That's how it feels. But in 2013, when it happened to me, I was actually performing outside at a cancer survivors park for my mom and a lot of the cancer patients. It was June the 6th, hot outside. And after I finished performing, I was playing the piano, singing my song. And after I finished, I sat down by my mom and my grandmother and I fainted. So they started pouring water on me and everything. And
Mm,
got to the ER, come to find out that I had blood clots in my lungs. So they had to,
mm,
find out where it came from and all that, put me on blood thinner. And so 2021 comes around, and I don't know if you remember when we had like the snowstorm, and I was laying in the bed. Same thing happened. It was a cramp in my leg. I remember the feeling. Nothing that I ever forget. I had to drive myself in the snow. I think we had like 8, 10 inches of snow to the ER. I could barely even talk when I walked in the ER, and they took me to the back, and the doctor told me that I literally had 2 or 3 golf ball sized blood clots sitting on my lungs, and if I hadn't got there when I did, that I wouldn't have made it. So I was in a hospital
Mm.
for about a week or two, and of course in that 8 year period they've increased the better scientific way of getting rid of blood clots, so they actually had to go into my lungs, go through my lungs and my chest to get them out. They had to go in my leg and get them out, and I was going to be released, but that night it felt like my leg was swimming in water, if that makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
so come to find out, if I would have left, because you get in the hospital, you ready to go home. If I would have
mm,
been in such a rush to leave, I wouldn't have found out that there was still blood clots in my leg. So if I would have left and got home, it would have happened again, and I probably won't be here. And so I've
mm,
talked to a lot of people who have sit at home jobs or sit down jobs, whether it's clerical, admin, people who travel a lot. You're in the car for hours or you're on the plane for hours. I wanted to make sure, just like my music, that I share my experience, so that way if it happens again, or I got people who got the book and they say, like, sometimes when they're sitting down and they crossing their legs, and your legs start tingling, they hurry up and uncross them because they remember what I talked about in my book. But they're more mindful now, to
mm,
where if I'm traveling, I need to pull over every 2 hours or so. Just stretch your legs. You really need to stretch your legs, because at the end of the day, blood clots come when you least expect it. Let me definitely say that. And so that's where that came from, just sharing my experience dealing with blood clots, and how at the end of the day, that experience. And to be honest, in 2013, when I was going through it, my mother was going through breast cancer. She was, chemo, radiation. I was her caregiver. And
mm,
now I'm in the hospital, and this just goes to show you a mother love. I actually have a picture, to where I'm laying in the hospital bed, and my mom is sitting in the chair beside me, and she actually just left her chemo, treatment and radiation treatment, but here she is sitting beside her daughter, helping. Like, no one could spend the night in the ICU, but they allowed her to spend the night with me. It just it,
mm.
it definitely shows, as a parent, regardless of where your child is, to be there for them. And but she wasn't here in 2021 when I had the second episode, but it pushed me to want to write something. And I will encourage you, like we talked about before we started, that take time out. To one thing that I started was, just like I put a notification that I had this live interview today in my phone. You need to put a notification in your phone for 30 to 45 minutes a day. Work on book. It don't mean that you got to write during those 30, 40 minutes, but I had to do that. Because once you do it for a couple of days,
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks, then it'll be mundane to where, okay, I need to work on my book today. So you can be, Googling pictures, coming up with the title, finding out who your publisher gonna be. Okay, what my chapter's gonna be about, getting the copy. Like you can be working on different things. And that's what I had to do. I literally had to carve out time because I'm like, I want to put this book out because there's no way God kept me here twice with this situation and it happened and he saved my life. I want to make sure that I'm able to save somebody else's life. And I've had people when they got the book, they they got like 2-3 copies, and I've shipped out several copies to different people and they gave it to nurses and doctors and I actually went around in the city and put them at like urgent cares and places like that where people go. I went back to the hospital that I went to and put it in their waiting room in their radiology department, just something that people can read, because at the end of the day, if it helped me and I've learned about it, I want to give that same information to somebody else. And so he definitely restored my life to where, I had to start eating better. It was, eating certain things and doing certain things definitely cultivates when it comes to blood clots. And so I had to stop doing a lot of stuff, drinking, wine and all of that. Had to stop a lot of that, but I knew my health was important. It definitely was important. So it's kind of like I said, a diary where I talk about leading up to that point and what I was doing in my life, and then as well as how I got through it. So I have pictures in there of me in the hospital. It was so ironic. The day I was in the hospital, I got there that day. The next morning, my hematologist came inside and he came in the room, in the ICU room, with the commercial appeal. And it was the front page. And he was like, "Is this you?" So how about the folks at the place took a picture of me while I was performing, and here I am a couple of minutes later. I passed out in the ER, and now I done made the commercial appeal. So I got that picture. I got that picture in my book, and it was just so funny when he came in there, and I'm like, "Why he got the newspaper?" And he was like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "Margaret," I said, "Yeah, that's me." He was like, "Okay." And here I am in the hospital the day after that, and so it was just so, but at the end of the day, I thank God that he kept me here, and anything that I can do to help somebody, and I can be on the elevator, I don't care. But if I hear people talk about blood clots or DVTs or, out of breath, different things like that, I'm able to like quickly just ask them certain questions so that I can now be like, okay, well, you need to do this. Make sure you talk to. So I'm just grateful that God allowed me to go through that so I can be able to share it.
Dope. So where can people buy the book? Is it on your website, the deloachapproach.com? Let people know where your website is.
Yeah, you can go to margaretdeloachwrites.com. So, but you can go on there and you can order it. I have some physical copies, or you can go and order it from Amazon. But I do have physical copies, and I autograph it and send it out to you. Like you have on their Novel bookstore and Barnes and Noble, you can go on there and order it as well. They have a copy. And then also inside, I want to say the first couple of pages inside the book, I have a QR code in the book for some songs that's like free download, some of my earlier music as well, inside the book. So yeah, you can definitely order a copy. Thank you for that.
Definitely. Y'all need to remember the deloachapproach.com.
Yeah,
go
you
there.
go to the Deloach Approach and everything's on there. Yeah.
TheDeloachapproach.com. The DeloachApproach.com. Yeah. And it's all of your music is available on there as well.
You can go to the music. All my music is on there. All my social media, everything is on there where you can find find out anything that you may need, or want to reach out to me about anything, all of that is on there as well.
Merchandise as well. Y'all make sure y'all grab some merchandise as well.
Yeah, that's from the It Will Be. Yeah.
Your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all go support. Run the numbers up. We here with Butta MD.
Yes, sir.
The one and only. So It Will Be. You got me want to check it out. I haven't seen the video yet to It Will Be. Can you go ahead and announce it or announce it to the people so we can play it?
Yes. Whenever you're going through anything in life, and if you're a believer, you know that prayer changes everything. And it's a scripture in the Bible. It's in a couple of books that talks about when you pray, you ask God for what you want. You have to believe it. After you believe it, then you receive what you believe that it will be. So I present to you to encourage you and to inspire you to always keep the faith in whatever you're praying for, that it will be.
When things are going on in your city, in your family, in your life, you got to remember that when you pray and ask to believe and receive, then it will. It will be. When you pray, you got to believe by faith that it will be. So when we pray, just receive that it will be. It will be. It will be. I promise it will be. It will be. Just believe that it will be. When I left for high school, mama knew we needed prayer. Backpack, lunchbox, but my soul was in the air. Blinded by my own decisions, man, like I ain't even care. But when a friend of me switched up, that's when I really felt that snare. It was plenty of times I cried, knew my life went right. Homosexuality, profanity, smoking demons had me tight. Mama never judged me, spirit of a true soldier. Now that she gone, thank you, mama, don't know if I ever told you. God hand was on my life, trust me, I traced it daily. That blood of Jesus cover me, I'm glad he still claim it. Put the past behind me, new mercies every day. My life something like a chalkboard. Clean slate, got these lyrics, don't tell it all, but I know you know my heart. Had to learn through the pain, you can barely see the scars. Don't be anxious for nothing, just pray and be thankful. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, I know he able. When you pray, you gotta believe by faith that it will be. So when we pray, just receive that it will be. It will be. It will be. I promise it will be. It will be. Just believe that it will be. It will be. Seen and unseen, do you really know what that means? Blood clots move to my lungs, mean I barely could breathe. But God saw me through twice, miracle worker. His love, oh so sweet, but he'll never desert you. When them bills piling up, fear be trying to kick in. If anything, square up and put your faith on 10. Just know the battle ain't yours, cause he already won it all. Don't praise him in advance like shot it low, he done it all. So if you ain't scared, go on and walk on water. Don't be moved by what you see, just focus hard on my daughter. Ain't even telling you what I heard, I live this here life, no shame. I got his grace, I'm fireproof on this mic. Angels keep a lookout, and we'll see you when it's time. I hope you hearing our prayers and keep us by the main line. Don't take life for granted, we here for a reason. God, this year I'm believing you getting us back to Eden. We need it. Thank you for all you've done for me, keeping me from danger seen and unseen. Lord, I thank you for making me free. I thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. I thank you for all you've done.
Okay, I just found out my new theme song for all of 2024 and all 2025 forever. That's my theme song now.
Yeah, that was nice. I like
appreciate
that.
it. Thank you.
Whoa,
I like that.
Thank you for saying that.
goodness. Thank you for making that. That is a blessing and a half. Like, man, it's just that's it. That's a theme. That's theme music. That's music to live to.
Yeah. Just a
Because
reminder, like I said, just a reminder, you know, and sometimes we even the toughest of the toughest people go through things and our faith gets shaken a little bit. So it definitely is a motivational for me and when it came out last year, a lot of people reached out and were just saying they've been, you know, having it on repeat for months, you know, because I had one lady, she was actually going through chemo treatments and stuff, and she said when it came out, she was watching it like every day when she got in the car. So I'm just grateful, you know, to be able to do that through my music. So I appreciate that.
we appreciate you. We got a caller calling in. Hello, hello. You're on the Memphis Jokes Show.
Yes, 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 I am.
Hey, Mom, it's Mom.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, tell her. Oh. Hey. Yes.
Mom, you gotta turn it down in the background, Mom. You gotta turn your TV down in the background
Okay.
because it's echoing. Butter MD done brought Mom. They got my mom to call. You the
What's
first.
Yes,
going
very
on?
indeed. Beautiful. Oh, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I love that song, It Will Be. And I love your testimony. Oh,
Thank you
that's
so much.
beautiful. But I don't know what, Jacob, I went through a symbol like that in 2006, where I had tumors in my pancreas, and one was a mass. And they said I didn't have chemo, surgery, or radiation. They didn't see me living the rest of that year.
Yeah.
And to this day, I haven't had chemo, I haven't had surgery, I haven't had radiation, and the tumors they dissolved them with
Hallelujah.
high dose of medication,
Yeah.
and still here. And I was raised with my grandma, and I asked let me to see
Mom, your phone is clear. Your phone is clicking.
28 and 27.
Wow.
So I believe your testimony, and I was glad to hear you as a young person, and your music are beautiful.
Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you. I appreciate that, and pray for you and your health as well.
Oh, well, I sure thank you. And you all have the rest of the blessed night. I'm gonna continue on watching y'all, because y'all it's just a beautiful thing y'all young people is doing, and I really enjoyed your music, your song, and your testimony too.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
you're a
God
beautiful
bless
person.
you.
I can tell.
Thank you.
You touched my heart. You touched me. Just to hear you. All right, you have a good night. I'm gonna continue on
Love you.
watching y'all
Thank you
though.
so
Thanks,
much.
Mom. Thanks, Mom. I love you, Mom. Thank you for calling, Mom.
Uh-huh. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, snap.
Butter MD, you done brought out the big dog. You done brought out my OG. That's well, you know you inspirational if you bring out my mom, the big dog.
You're gonna make me do it.
Thanks, Mom, for calling. That was amazing. Your story is such a inspirational story, and it's not even really a story. It's your real life, but you're just able to put it into art so well.
Yeah.
That's a blessing to be able to do that. Do you know how talented you are, Butter MD? You're the truth.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm glad she called and said that. You know it. And like she said, for being like we talked about earlier, our age, our generation. I'm just thinking about the people that's coming after us. That's my main goal, my main focus, and I'm not perfect at all by any means, but I know I serve a perfect God, and so as long as I keep my focus on Him, when I do have flaws and slip ups, the older I get, I know the quicker I run to Him in my teenage years and my 20s when I was in college, I've done all type of stuff that I know I could have been in jail, locked up, or in the grave. But for him to keep me here, and for her to say that, it definitely, uh, it inspires me and it encourages me, because sometimes you, as an artist, we can be so vulnerable to put ourselves out there and to share certain things, and not knowing that it's to help somebody else. And so yeah, I definitely was blessed by that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people forget
Yeah,
that, we all have gifts that are not for ourselves, but they're for other people.
yeah,
And I think sometimes some of us will sit our gifts on the shelf.
yeah,
It could be out of fear, it could be out of, just wanting to do something different and not wanting to lean into what God is pushing you into or what your
yeah,
heart is being drawn to do. So I have to commend you for leaning into what God was drawing you into, right? Because
yeah,
it's easy to sidestep. It's easy to be like, hey, listen, I don't really like this feeling right now. I don't really
hmm,
like exposing myself like this
yeah,
because, it's one thing, we talked about this before. Like, it's one thing just to write stuff to be writing,
yeah,
but it's another thing to write to tell your story, right? It's
yeah,
another thing to allow your life to be on display, and allow people to have some sort of insight or even some
yeah,
sort of judgment into what you've been through or what you're even going through. And so
yeah,
for you to step out and say, hey, listen, I know this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm gonna keep walking because you're pulling me towards this way. I think it's very commendable. And I think, this is the one reason why we had this platform, right? To bring
yeah,
people on, to expose them to the world, man, to people who can see this, who gonna watch this show, who gonna hear these two songs,
yeah.
who gonna see that book, who gonna pick it up, who gonna be blessed by it.
I
I think
appreciate
sometimes
that.
we discount
Yeah.
what the gift can do for others if
Mm,
it don't come back in a monetary fashion, right?
mm,
We discount it because we can't see it, we can't touch it. But I
yeah.
think sometimes you never know how many people's
You
lives
never
are
know.
being changed
Yep.
because you're being obedient to what God has asked you to do. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yep. That's amazing. You're so right. So right.
That's true. That's super true. Oh, yo, Butter, we can we could do this all night because you the
Yeah.
truth. Like I said, we got to do a part two. We got to
Yeah.
do a part two. You got to come
Most
back on the show
definitely.
and a part three and a part four. But sometimes we do it. Sometimes we need some female energy on here. So if you wouldn't
Yeah.
mind, like you could come on here and host with us
I
sometimes if you want
appreciate
to.
that.
We could
Yeah.
use a female's point of view on
Okay.
some of the shows and stuff.
That
That would be
definitely can
amazing.
work that out for sure.
And you're well spoken. You know this the business inside and out and the art inside and out. You're perfect.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So this is the part where we're gonna go around it. Everybody just say your last, words for the tonight's episode, and just let people know where they can follow you. But MD, we always let the
Okay.
artists go first.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for having me, allowing me on this platform to share my story, my music, as well as my book. You can follow me on all platforms. Butta MD is, I think it's what's that right there? That's how you spell it. BUTTAMD. All my music is on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen or download your music from. Just type in my name and everything will pop up. Or you can just go to my website, the Deloach Approach .com, the DeLoachApproach.com. And again, just Google, look up my name, and send me an inbox. And again, just be encouraged that whatever you're praying for, whatever God has for you, that it will be whatever you're believing for. And don't allow people to bring up your past or try to have you to remember the bad things that happened in your past, but to know and remember who God called you to be. And so thank you so much, and I pray that you stay blessed.
Oh, you're up.
Man, it's hard to follow that.
Yeah, it is.
But MD, man, we appreciate you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for
I
having
think it
me.
was a great show, man. I'm so happy you came on. Thank you for your obedience to continue to use that gift, and I just encourage you to continue to use it. And I pray that God continues just to download into you like
Yeah.
never before, that you can exposed and be refreshed and have a fresh wind of lyrics and songs and projects that will change the world, right? Because I think that's important, especially for somebody who is trying to be obedient to what they're feeling like God is leading them to do. And for anybody watching who is wondering if you should do it, let this show be a sign that you should do it. Everybody might not like it. Everybody might not agree with it. But if you feel drawn to do a thing, do that thing.
Yeah.
And I promise you, if you take the step, God will take the rest of the steps with you, and he'll even carry you when you can't carry yourself.
Yeah.
I think y'all set me up. How am I going to come behind both of those? I will say that all good things come from God. Everybody who watching, I appreciate you guys for watching. Keep your faith in God. You know what I'm saying? To him goes all the glory. Anything that you want in life, that's good and that's going to be a blessing not only for you but for others who are like O was saying and like you were saying, but like people are watching you. So if you living in faith, God is going to bless you with so many things because he wants you to shine. He wants you to shine. He wants people to see that living in faith can get you just as many blessings or earthly blessings as well. So you know, he wants you to have a mansion. He wants you to have a Porsche. He wants you to, you know, not a Porsche, but you know, a fancy car, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe a Porsche. Though.
Yeah, that Porsche.
Yeah. But y'all
I block my blessings.
But anything that your heart desires, he wants you to have it because that makes him look good too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And he wants to look good as well. He wants to show you that you don't have to go the negative direction or be cussing or using profanity and making the darkest kind of art that you can possibly think of, and you can still be prosperous, successful, and he'll bless you like, you know, with all your heart's desire and then some, so you'll be able to bless others. And that's the path that I see that you've been on, Butta, ever since I met you, and you're still on it. And then you're just getting better and better and greater and greater. You know what I'm saying? You're like fine wine. You know what I'm saying? You're getting better with time. Have I topped y'all yet?
Yeah, you
No, I'm tripping. I'm tripping.
That wine line did it.
It did. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yo, but now you're the Memphis Jelks Show alumni, and we had more alumni too that shouted you out. We had Virgo Smith Fiasco shouted you out. He said, "Butta." We had Zakiah Williams stop through to say, "Go, Butta." We had Toy in the building. Toy was in the building. She said, "Yes, she is." We had Jamie Dominique stop through. She wanted to say, "True."
Yeah.
And Ryan Nichols. Ryan Nichols said, "It will be."
Yes. Thank y'all so much.
Oh, laughing at me because I didn't hit the doggone button right again. So, all right, that's my cue. Hey, we love you. We're gonna do a part 2, part 3.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
we want you to come on, host with us. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome on here anytime. If you come out with anything, you know, that you want to promote, or even if you just want to just come through and just say peace and show some love. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
You're
sir.
always welcome. You're always welcome. You're like a sister to me. Let's it's family. Once you come on the Memphis Jelks Show, you're family for life.
Yes.
Thanks
I will
everybody out there
definitely- I
for
feel
watching.
welcome.
Yeah, anytime, all the time. God is good. Hey,
Well, thank y'all
anybody
so much,
out
and
there?
y'all keep doing what y'all doing as well, and keep pushing regardless of what it looks like. Y'all continue to keep the faith and doing what y'all doing from a pure, humble heart. For
Thank
both of
you.
y'all. Yeah.
Thank you, and we will. So we want to thank all the viewers, everybody who
Thank y'all
watched
for
the show
tuning in,
tonight. Thank y'all
everybody.
for tuning in. leave a comment, share, like, subscribe. That get the numbers up. That make the show bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to take this show all the way to the moon and back. So the Memphis Jelks Show loves y'all. Peace and love. This has been Butta MD's episode part 1, and we out.
Peace.
Squad up, haters down, haters down. If you ain't about that life, don't come around, don't come around. Got the crowd, gone wild, gone wild.